Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Friday evening. Wanted to get this video out as quickly as I could. CBSI just put on their website the Hot 10 comics for this week, so wanted to jump into that and just do a review, give you my opinion on a few of them. Some of these are pretty cool, and some of them I don't really care that much about, but yeah, it'd be good to review it just to see. This is a good thing to go over every week just to see what is on the move right now. So let's jump on into it. The top 10 list by CBSI. So number 10 on the list is a book I don't think I've ever heard of, Copra #2. Michael Fife, looks like he's the writer and artist. CBSI says, yeah, this is an oddball pick. I guess it's his first published work. I never heard of the guy, so if it was his last published work, I wouldn't know any difference. But it says like issue #1. There haven't been any sales of that one, but numbered out of 400. A copy sold this week for $175. A lot of these issues sell for good money, and definitely one to keep an eye out for, as most will have no clue what it is worth, that it is worth money. So I'm not even sure the publisher of this book. I've never heard of it. Copra #2. I mean, I guess, I don't know, eBay, it's probably, because it's on this list, there's going to be people looking for it on eBay if it ever shows up. Sounds like it's a really, really low print run book. And why that matters, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any news that this is being picked up for TV show or movie or anything, so I guess just because something's scarce doesn't always mean it's worth money. But the marketplace is the marketplace. If there's enough people that are scouring for this book, it'll make the prices go up. So I guess if you're at your local shop and I don't know, you run across it by odd occurrence, which is probably not likely, given the print run being so low. Yeah, I mean, if you run across it, buy it up. I mean, you can resell it pretty quickly on eBay, it looks like, for some decent money. Number 9 on the list, John Wick #1. I'm pretty familiar with the movies. I've seen, I think, #1 and #2. I don't think I've seen the latest. I think #3's out now. I haven't seen that yet. Looks like this was a $10 book, and several copies have sold this week for the $20 to $25 range. Seems to be breaking the norm that modern books based on movies can be worth something. Jim's Comics had mentioned this book. He was on this early. He's been buying John Wick since it started. Multiple covers, all that good stuff. So he's definitely been pretty accurate. He definitely says the comic books are canon for the movies that have come out. I don't know, John Wick 3 just came out, so is there going to be a John Wick 4? I mean, it's amazing. It's had a pretty solid following in the movie circles. But yeah, the writer Greg Pak is pretty good. I mean, I like some of the stuff he writes, so yeah, it's kind of cool seeing this obscure, was it IDW, I think, does these books. Yeah, IDW. So don't see a lot of their books getting attention, so it's kind of cool to see that on the list and moving up a little bit. It's not one that I have in my collection, unfortunately. Number 8 on the list, The Kitchen #1. There's been a few sales in the past couple months. This looks like a very low print run type book by Vertigo, DC Vertigo. I guess there's a trailer that dropped, and there's been several sales in the $10 to $15 range. A 9.8 for over $100 when the previous high was $75. So, anytime something gets optioned or is developed into something, you'll see a little interest in it. So I'm not familiar with The Kitchen, but anyone that owns that, congratulations. You probably could sell it for a little bit of money, which is good. I don't think $10 to $15 is all that exciting, but if you've got a graded copy, 9.8 or better, it looks like it's going for over $100. Number 7 on the list, Fathom #1. This is a J. Scott Campbell Aspen Appreciation variant. So I guess this was a free comic book that came out, and now it's selling for over $100. Probably just because it's J. Scott Campbell. Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's a lot of J. Scott Campbell fans out there that will pretty much buy a lot of his stuff, and this was a numbered. Yeah, it looks like it was numbered to 250. So yeah, it's pretty low print run. So I'm not surprised this is at $100. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of J. Scott Campbell. I mean, I think his artwork's okay. Just I'm not one of those that clamors for his artwork. Number 6, War of the Realms, Agents of Atlas #1. This is the Miko Suyan Virgin variant. Yeah, $300 now for this book. Crazy. I mean, I remember seeing it on eBay for like $150, and now it's $300. Crazy. There's a Virgin in a trade dress, and Virgin I think goes for more money, obviously. And I guess there's a couple first appearances in this issue, and of course on the cover there is the first appearance of that Filipino character. I can't remember her name. Something to do with the ocean. I know she's an aquatic hero. But hey, if you were early in on that, I know Jim's Comics bought a couple of those, so he scored pretty nicely. Yeah, it's fantastic. $300 book that I think you could have picked that up for around $50 to $60 originally. So pretty good return on investment there. That's definitely one that a lot of people did not see coming. Number 5, Veronica #28. This was on, I think, the last week's list. Just because it's kind of a risque cover. Sales are approaching $100 plus now from $55 just a few weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some fans, comic book fans that collect Archie and Veronica and those genre of comic books. I'm not one of those, but yeah, it's an older book, and there's some attention on it. So it's good news for those that collect that line of comic book. Number 4, Bone Parish #1. This is a really cool book. Cullen Bunn's the writer. Jonas Scarf is the artist, and it's really a cool cover. I love the black and white cover on this, and this was a book I had a good feeling about. I bought doubles of this first issue. The black and white cover I just thought was awesome. I think there was an incentive cover as well. I didn't even buy the incentive. I literally just bought 2 of the A cover just because I just think it's awesome. And the book's up to $20, so there is a upcoming media announcement. It's probably going to be developed into a TV show, would be my guess. It's perfect type of comic book for a TV show. And Simple Man's Comics, Jack and Andy were interviewing Boom Studios and got the scoop, so congratulations to them. Bone Parish #1, that's one that is nice to see moving up to $20, not bad. New Gods #1, famous Jack Kirby book. When he left Marvel, went to DC, and DC basically let Kirby do whatever he wanted. He created this entire new universe, and looks like Tom King is writing a screenplay, and so obviously that's moving up a lot of these books. That is a hard book to find in high grade. I've bid on this a few times, never won it. It just tended to get too expensive. Last couple of years, I mean, this book has been in high grade. It's been a pretty expensive book. I mean, if you can get it in a 9.0 or better, that would be probably a good pickup. Long term, I mean, I don't like Kirby's artwork that much. I'm not a big fan of Kirby. I've read some of his comic books, and it's just, it's very cringy. It's definitely resembling the birth of comic books. So, it's kind of campy. It has that campy feel to it, but I'm not going to take anything away from Kirby. I mean, he created some pretty cool characters. The New Gods, he definitely created the foundation that could be developed. And I'm not a big Tom King fan. Tom King is hit and miss for me. I think Batman lately has been a big miss, and obviously I wasn't the only one that thought that since he's been removed as of issue 85, will be his last issue on Batman. They're going to let him do a Batman and Catwoman series. I don't think it's going to do that well. It remains to be seen, but Tom King, he's hit and miss. I mean, there's some things he does that's pretty good. I did like Vision. He did that Marvel series for Vision. I thought that was really, really good. Heroes in Crisis I didn't care for. It just really was slow. It really kind of dragged. I understand what he was trying to do with that series, but it just, I don't know. It just seemed to be kind of really slow-paced, in my opinion. Number 2 on the list is Rick and Morty number 50. So this comic book series hit its 50th issue, and there's a couple of 1 in 25 variants that are going for pretty good money. It says multiple sets have sold for over $400. Wow. I mean, this is a pre-ordered book, so right now, if you go on the August pre-orders, it's sold out already on the pre-orders. So I went on Midtown pre-orders, and it was already sold out. I don't know if you can pre-order this anywhere else in advance. I mean, obviously, you're going to be paying more than, you're going to be paying, if you can pre-order it around a ratio, $25 to $30, that would be awesome, especially since I hear, it's going for many times more that, $400 for the set, so that's $200 a piece for those 2 issues. Crazy. I mean, I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. I collected, I think, 1 through 30, the first 30 issues of Rick and Morty I collected. I've got number 1. I've got a lot of the variants, earlier variants. In fact, number 2, I think I have the variant of this that shows Morty cut in half. That's like a $25 book. Issue number 1's like a $200 to $250 book. So it's a popular series, a lot of Rick and Morty fans out there. And good news is, I think they announced this November is going to be the release of season 4. So, if you're really into the cartoon series, it's kind of, it's one of those deals where it's so good you can kind of almost put up waiting because it's been almost, I think it will be 2 years since season 3. So you have to wait a long time, mainly because the 2 creators, Roland and Harmon, they're smoking pot all day long. So, they probably wake up around 11:30 in the morning, and they head over to the studio. They probably have a late breakfast, early lunch, whatever you want to call it. And they probably smoke a little weed, and they might write 10 minutes worth of material before the end of the day. That's what my guess is on their work schedule. It's obviously not very productive since it's been 2 years since season 3. But you've got a lot of loyal fans. I'm one of them. I mean, I will definitely watch Rick and Morty when season 4 comes out. I love the show. I think it's the smartest, craziest, best show ever created. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I love Family Guy. I'm a big Family Guy fan. I think it's way funnier than Family Guy. So, people that watch Family Guy are into Rick and Morty. They know what I'm talking about. It's a dark, demented thing of beauty. Number 1 on the list is, I think it's pronounced Albedo. This is a Japanese manga cartoon, basically, or character. And, it's a really rare comic book, condition sensitive. Hard to believe, though, a 9/8 sold for $31,000. That's crazy. Obviously, there's probably very, very few 9/8s on the census for that book to sell for that much, when the previous sale of the 9.8 was $6,900. Man, that guy that paid $6,900, he looks like a genius now, right? My goodness. So that's a book, you know, I probably would have never looked for or bought, but man, back in the day it was $1.50. I'm gonna say it came out in the mid '80s, would be my guess. So that's a pretty amazing price for a book that's really, you know, it's older, but it's not that old. You know, was it late '80s maybe? I think that came out. So there's your top 10 list from CBSI. There was a couple honorable mentions. Power Pack #1. I guess there's movie development news. Of course, that's what moves a lot of these older titles that no one really cares about. No one today is really collecting Power Pack. It's just one of those obscure titles. I remember seeing it in dollar bins probably for the longest time, but it looks like a 9.8 just sold for $350, so that's amazing. Yeah, so I guess if you're at the comic book shops, check those dollar bins. You might find a Power Pack in there. You know, that was a series that was mass produced. You know, not very. I don't think it was that popular. I don't know how many issues that ran, but I don't remember it being all that popular of a book. I think back then I was really into X-Men more than anything else, so Power Pack was something I knew about but didn't collect. Also, Voodoo Annual #1, a 7.5, highest graded, sold this week for $9,000. Obviously, this is an older book. Black cover, probably really hard to find in even mid-grade. Yeah, so those black and white covers, those are the toughest to find in great condition, and the older black covers make it even harder. So I think that's a book from the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, guys, that's all I had for today's list, the top 10 list from CBSI. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this list. You know, are there books on there that you like that you think deserve to be on the list, or maybe they don't? Yeah, just let me know what you think, and I will try to do another video this weekend. I think I have an order of a few books coming, some store exclusives, so maybe look for a video sometime this weekend. All right, guys, thanks.